So, for those who are wondering why I'm actually against the anti-woke doing woke tactics, well, let's look at where those tactics lead. To IRL consequences when the woke does it, and see why I don't really like the anti-woke doing those same exact fucking tactics. So this is Timcast, who, yeah, that's my bit on like why I feel like the anti-woke shouldn't be doing misinformation bombing and stuff, right? Okay, I covered that in last video. That's the only reason I'm bringing that up, by the way, in this one. But yeah, Timcast is, of course, kind of like center left, I'd argue, YouTuber, skater bro, beanie guy, drug addict, whatever. Like, he is definitely a skater, right? Like, you could, like, look at this guy. Look, he looks like he's currently on weed right now. Obviously, he's a skater bro. You'd be like, yo, dude, you're right, but fuck you for that. But yeah, I mean, I'm right. I'm not gonna deny it.
Have been
like, you are on weed, but it's okay. You're a skater bro. That's how they are, right? I'm not a skater bro, but yeah, like, there's people like probably mostly boomer, because remember, a thing to note, like, there's different like wokeness isn't really united either, right? The idea that any of these sides are united is retarded, right? I mean, that's really the issue, right? Like, anti-woke isn't united and woke isn't united because they aren't really like encapsulated like one group, right? And they never really will, because like you can't really do anything as major as this with just one coordinated group. You have to have like a bunch of non-coordinated groups, because there's no group that of like people that's really that big, right? That's really the thing.
Whether you're on the left or the right, the narrative was a group of skateboarders told me I wasn't allowed to skate at their park, so I bought it from them, and I own it now. It's a bit oversimplified and a bit of exaggeration as to what actually happened, but that's the narrative they ran with on the left, and it's funny because they got mad about it, and people on the right said, damn, Tim Pool, boss move. I wish that were the case. The simple version...
Yeah, actually what happened, as he'll explain later, he was wanting to buy a skate park because it was kind of run down, he wanted to make it better, and he wanted to make it better primarily because it's becoming an Olympic sport, and he wants to be a pioneer in that industry. And I say all for him, right? Like, people like, well, you criticize the quartering doing coffee. Like, dude, coffee, like, everyone does coffee. Like quartering doing coffee isn't like helping the coffee industry. Like it's helping him and no one else, and his coffee isn't that good. That's another thing. I'm like, for me, I prefer entrepreneur. Like, that's why I'm like, Mark Kern sucks, but Eric July's okay, right? Like, Eric July, I don't think his comics are good, but like, it's comics, like your indie comics, right? You can hold them in your hand, like you can buy them physical and like hold them in your hand, right? And then like V, right? V's also an anti-woke game dev, but he made a game. Grums hasn't even finished a tech demo, so like, there's reasons why I don't respect some anti-woke people and I respect others, As it turns out, like I said, it's not just one ideology, and that's why, like, there's certain individuals I respect more than others. And I respect them based on, like, kind of also, like, on the moment. Like, I'm not really a big Tim Pool fan, but, like, in the moment, there's some things that are just not okay, right? And this is, of course, left-wing misinformation that basically has caused an entire, like, skate park that he was trying to build with his own money, mind you, to be destroyed continuously until he just gave up. Which isn't even just a woke tactic, that's like a fascist tactic at that point. Like, that's literally like what fascism really is. It's like using violence and force, terroristic violence and force, to like basically beat the will out of someone. Like, that's what Nazis did. I don't know if you left-wing people know this, but That's literally what Nazis did to Jewish people, right? Like, they didn't start off exterminating them, but they did start off doing all this, we're going to make your life a living hell until you just give the fuck up to them. And so they did that, and this happened. Now, a lot of people on the left are saying they're doing that with trans people in America and Congress and stuff, and I don't really see that. Another thing, like, you notice, like, a lot of woke types will always, like, say trans people, right? But, like, I don't really care. Like, yeah, it's a skate park. Like, look, dude, I'll be honest. Dude's a little loser. I don't really care. I'm not going to go to, maybe not going to go to his skate park. I'm not really a skateboard guy anyway. Like, I'm not a skater girl, right? I'm not that gal. So sure, I'm not going to be there, but I'm not going to be there not because I don't like Tim Pool. I mean, I don't really like Tim Pool that much either, to be fair. I'm not a fan of his, but I am defending him here, right? Because this is bad. But I'm not a fan of his show or whatever, but I am a fan of, hey, look, if someone does something with legal means and are legitimately just trying to do something fun, I don't really care. Look, it's his money, right? If it goes nowhere, here's the thing. If it goes nowhere and nothing actually gets good with it, you want to know what happens? He loses money. Right? He only gains money if it's good and people like it, right? But that only happens if it's good, right? So, like, what that would mean is he'd have to make something good. And if he makes something good, who cares? Like, it is the funny shit about, like, the whole far left and far right, like, stuff with, like movements and things. Like, they all horseshoe together, right? And then they're always like, oh, well, I don't want you to have fun because you'll be successful if you have fun. I'm like, yeah, because he's having fun. Like him, like, if this skate park was lit, you know what? It would be a good thing. People are stressed. The economy sucks. Tim Pool opens a skate park, and now people can have fun to let loose of how much their life sucks. That's good. I don't care if Tim Pool is the one's running it or, like, fucking, like, Joseph Mengele. Okay, maybe not Joseph Mengele. That guy's a little edgy, but like you know, like killing a bunch of people, you know, in scientific. Okay, maybe not, but he's not this guy isn't a eugenicist scientist, so maybe I shouldn't have compared him. Like, but like, okay, look, if you know what? Here's another one, right? So Tim Pool, and then we'll do I don't know, I want to name someone who's, like, kind of really hated on the left, but Hassan, right? Hassan. If Hassan did the same thing, I'd be like, okay, yeah, power to you, bruh. Right? Like, that's the thing, right? Like they're basically the, like, left wing, right wing. Who cares, right? But that's my thing, right? If you're not really actively hurting people and you're just like, yeah, you want to open up a skate park with your own money, because this is his own money, right? This is his wallet, money he's made himself, right? Like, what's the problem here? Like, why is he not allowed to open a skate park that he paid for? That's what I want to know, right? Like, this is ultimately the thing with, like, the woke and, like I said, when anti-woke use woke tactics, that's what I'm referring to. Like, using misinformation, because this is the thing, it was brought up. Most of this stuff, you notice he'll say this, and then he talks about how, like, a lot of it comes from this article. Because remember, he opened this up, like, last year, right? So a lot of the destruction happened, like, later after this article. And yeah, it's pretty fucking scummy. And I'd argue that Washington Post not only owes him an apology, but some fucking money. You Washington Post, you know what? Washington Post, you owe him his fucking money back because he paid for this thing, and then you basically spread misinformation and cause people to destroy it because they're easily manipulated. The easily manipulated people should obviously go to jail because, you know, yeah, I committed a crime and destroyed someone's property that they paid for. But Washington Post, yeah, absolutely, fuck you.
There was a do-it-yourself spot that was privately owned and partially abandoned. Some locals skated there sometimes. We had been invited to an event. I offered up $20,000 to the event because we were looking to purchase and reinvigorate the town, particularly the skate park. And some far left elements got very angry, began threatening us, lying about what was really going on, to the point where the Washington Post actually ran a front page story. The skate park was thriving, then a right-wing YouTuber bought it. Tim Pool's purchase of an improvised skate park has riled skateboarders in West Virginia's Eastern Panhandle. It's all lies. And man, it really is remarkable how evil people on the left really are. Communists, largely. Let me start by saying this. The locals who actually skate at this park are friends of ours. We are...
Well, here's the thing, right? I feel like it's really just saying the left a bunch. I mean, you're a leftist. Most people are leftists, right? Like, this is the thing, right? A lot of anti-wokes, I'm like, okay, their criticism of the media is, okay, the tokenist virtue signaling, all that. Like, if you boil their talking points on why they hate wokeness, I'm like, you just reinvented left-wing criticism of a shitty movie that was racist, right? Like, wokeness reinvented racism, and then anti-wokes reinvented hating racism, right? Like, when you really boil it down, wokes reinvented bigotry, and so the anti-wokes reinvented hating bigotry is what it really comes down to. Because woke shit is bigoted, but they cover it in niceness, and then anti-woke shit is, I mean, some of it's bigoted, but most of it isn't, and then they cover it up in like edgy humor, right? Yeah, I know what it is.
Not that far away from this property.
Now, some people I don't like. Like, I don't like Elon Musk, Trump, Larry Fink. Right? Like, these are people I legitimately don't like. But notice how all of them like have political influence that can affect my day-to-day life. What's Tim like? Tim's opening a skate park. Okay, who cares, right? At best, he opens it and it's lit and it's amazing and he gets money, sure, but like it's amazing, so he deserved it, right? At worst, he opens it and it sucks, and like, okay, so like he loses money then. So like both of them have good outcomes, right? If you hate Tim Pool and it sucks anyway, the good outcome is he loses money because he wasted it, right? But if you hate Tim Pool and he opens up a good skate park, right, and that's worth the money, then you win anyway because he opened up something good. So you like had him do something good, and then like that's like, you just let him do these good things, right? Reward good behavior and punish bad behavior. Like, isn't that what we're supposed to be doing, right? As a society, like with our wallets, right? If he does something good, we reward that with money, and if he does something bad, we don't reward it with money. How is this like? This is basic economics, right? Like, if you like something, you pay for it. If you don't, you don't. So he's, like how is this hard for people to get?
Private facility, and they are invited to skate here, and they frequently do. The people who actually skate at this do-it-yourself spot, again, I talk to them periodically. I've given them some money for cleanup. They've actually gone and cleaned up the garbage.
Like, this is the thing. Like, these guys are probably just normies, right? Like, they're some are left, some are right. Who cares? They're just having fun at the park.
Now, well, I'll go through the full story to give you an update for anybody's...
Like, that's the thing. Like, notice how, like, he's talking about, like, I'm just hanging out with my buddy. And people are like, oh, they must be right. Like, dog, like, you go outside, a lot of people are going to be of every political thing, right? Some people, it's like, here's the thing. Some people might not even like him. They just like that he made a good skate park. And that's all they needed to know, right? This is ultimately the thing, right? When people like something you do, it doesn't even necessarily mean they like you, right? But they like the thing you did. And like, it's business, right? And this is really the thing the left needs to get in their head, right? Like Hogwarts Legacy, for example, is another thing, right? They boycotted Hogwarts Legacy, which was a good game that was not even transphobic at all because J.K. Rowling is a piece of shit. But notice, J.K. Rowling is a piece of shit. The developers aren't. The people who stream the game aren't. Okay, she can be a piece of shit, and everything about like this game is good, and that those can be two things. And you don't have to pay money, right? Just don't harass people who thought it was a good game. A lot of which were trans or trans allies themselves as well, by the way. So like they harassed a lot of LGBT people because they played the Harry Potter game that was apparently transphobic. This is the dumbest shit ever, right? And it's something like the left does a lot, right? And it's not just the left, but it's mostly the left. And this is why I don't really want the anti-wokes doing it, because they're like, well, now it's going to be both sides, right? Because that's really the thing. I don't want it to be both sides. I like the idea of, okay, one side better. But like, don't do the other side then.
Context, but the gist of it is this.
It's how it works.
Literal far left elements who are not from the area, or at the very least don't live here now, have effectively destroyed the property.
It's just stupid as fuck.
Circumstance in which the city has lost it and they're livid. And I recently received word from the city that they want me to bar all entry to the property from now on. And it's unfortunate. But for those that want the quick update, they have been vandalizing the property.
Yeah. So the skate park was kind of mid. He bought it, tried to improve it. People found out he bought it from this like post, right? Or whatever. And he started vandalizing it, the thing he purchased, and was improving, I guess. And now the property's condemned. He can't even allow people on it now safely. That's just fucked up, right? I don't care who you are, what your political leanings are. This is just fucked up. Don't do this to people. This is pretty fucking scummy.
They have been smashing things, spray painting gang graffiti and racial slurs. We decided at some point, you know what? We don't want to have anything to do with it. We're going to sell the property. We're done. Because, they can call it a win if they want. They can call it whatever they want. But I didn't buy this property to go to war with some crackpot far leftists. Our intention was to convert the building on the property into a skate shop and cultural hangout, a community hangout, like I used to have when I was a kid. You got a couch, you got video games, you got skateboards, you got snacks, some place people could hang out.
Yeah, you used to have these all over the place in the 90s. Yeah, the 90s and early 2000s had these all over the place. Someone being nostalgic for the 90s isn't a bad thing. And if you're mad at someone for being nostalgic for the 90s, fuck you.
Shoot the ish, you know what I mean? And then you'd have a skate spot that was cleaned, protected, and maintained. That's why we wanted to build this spot, and, well, a lot's happened since then. The locals there tell me that there are certain individuals that I will leave unnamed who have been coming with hammers and sledgehammers or something else and destroying things. Many of them have been begging these people to stop. I can confirm for you 100% these are far leftist political individuals.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, even if they weren't far leftist, they're terrorists at this point. I'd say, doesn't matter what group they come from. But, I'm pretty sure, far left isn't really necessarily, a thing that's, debatable. There are some right-wing guys that do that, but, I doubt, anyone on the right really hates Tim Pool enough to do that. So, there are some people, but you gotta remember, it's also, right by his house. There are people like that. But they're usually, several, states away. So they'd have to organize something very far distance and pretty long to do that. This is months, by the way. So I'm gonna guess that it's leftist, right? Because far right is there's right wingers that have organization, but they don't have this kind of violence, right? Remember, far right and far left are the violent, when people say far, they mean violent, right? So far left means violent leftist, far right means violent rightist, right? There's not really that many far right people in America. They do exist, and they are just as violent when they are, able to be, but they don't, the guy who beheaded his father at the FBI. Yeah, that guy is a nut job, right? He's a fucking psycho, right? but like like those are few and far between. They do exist, but they're few and far between, right? Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, far righties do exist. They behead their fathers and go to prison for the rest of their lives. God damn it. That way, like, seeing that was fucking wild, by the way. But yeah, yeah, that was fucked up.
I know they got in my face and threatened me personally at the local Cracker Barrel. I could.
Hey, like, yeah, then this is stupid. Like, and people are like, well, where's the proof? I'm being honest, I don't need proof at this point. I've seen it enough in my life. And here's the thing, I'm fairly left-leaning. I'm not really, I don't even like this guy. I fucking hate him. But, like, when it comes down to it, I've had enough experience to know this ain't a lie, and yeah, this needs to fucking stop. Here's the thing, right? If he opens up the skate park, the worst case scenario is that it sucks, right? But if it sucks, like, only suckers would pay for it. So, you know, if it ends up being just a shitty skate park and basically a scam, you know what the best case scenario there is? All the right-wing losers that are fans of his buy it, pay into it, and then no one else pays into it because it sucks. And so he makes money scamming off all the Nazis you hate, right? Like, you know what I mean? If that's what we're getting at, right? Like, if that's what we're getting at, like, ultimately, like, there's no, like, bad outcome from this other than you destroying it yourself, right? Like, that is objectively, other than the people destroying it themselves, there's no bad outcome here. If it thrives because it's good. If it's a scam and only, like, right-wing losers buy into it, well, he robbed right-wing losers. If it's a scam, if it sucks so bad not even they will participate in it, well, then he lost money. And there you go. Those are, like, the three outcomes. If no interference, it's just him pull. Right? So like, the three outcomes are either it's lit as fuck and, you know, I want a lit as fuck skate park, so good on him. It sucks and only right-wingers in his audience are falling for it, so they get scammed and they lose money. But he gets money, but who he's robbing, right? Or it legitimately sucks so bad that no one wants it, and so he loses money. Right? But now you're forcing him to lose money. But because you're using violence and fear, you're being a terrorist here, right? You will go to jail, and the people, like, influencing this will be sued, so he'll get his money back, right? So all you had to do is just let him do what he's saying, right? And then he would have been fine, and you would have been fine. And if it was good, he would have made money, but it would have had to have made something good and value off society. And if it was bad, but, like, right-wing people bought it, but no one who he's left fell for it, then he would be stealing and scamming right-wingers. So why does that matter? If you hate them, then they lost money. There you go. Sure, they gave it to another right-winger, but they lost money. That's the important part, right? And third outcome, it just sucks so much no one pays for it. Well, then he loses money. Right? So there's no bad outcome from letting him do what he wants, but there is a bad outcome from trying to force a negative outcome. And so what they did was they decided, let's be warriors and also not read Art of War, because, like, I would have just read Art of War. Look, it doesn't matter. There's going to be all out good outcomes if we let him do what he wants. The only bad outcomes if we try to force it, so let's not try to force it, you know? And so people tried to force it, they lost. That's what happens, right? It's good. It looked like it was a fun skate park. I mean, it looked like it was not really that good what I saw, but because they already destroyed most of it. But it looked like it was okay, and then then it became worse again after those videos were taken and stuff. So this is just disgusting. Just people need to stop doing this shit.
So this is where we've ended up.
It's mostly left-wing people on this side. But, like, what I'm saying is they don't want the right to start using these tactics, because the tactics are what cause people like that to happen, right? Most of the people doing, like, the demolishing and stuff are mentally ill, like, losers who are very easy to manipulate, right? So because of that, you got to remember, like, those are, like, the tools. And then, like, the non-violent people are, like, that are, like, in the news organizations are usually, like, the manipulator. They're the puppet masters of these crimes, right? And yeah, that's how it is, right? Like most of the violent people are actually just pissed off, like losers who don't know how to think properly for themselves. And then the non-violent, people masterminded are usually like the real like villains here. So like the Washington Post in this case, not anyone else, just Washington. I'm blending a lot of blame on Washington Post. That's indirect blame, like Puppet Master, right? But yeah, no, this is stupid. But what I'm saying, like, why I don't like when anti-wokes start using misinformation tactics, is that's what it does. It builds up on the dumbos, because every side has dumbos, right? That is not like a side specific thing, right? But because every side has dumbos, eventually you piss off the dumbos enough at the other side, they just start doing the shit that that the left is doing here, right? I mean, you did see a little bit of that with like the Target guy who was like harassing people and beating up like signs at Target that that had rainbows and shit on it. Now, granted, he was a Karen who no one took seriously, but I mean, it did happen. Like, it was just one guy, though, right? Now the left is like there's more of them, right? So there's going to be a lot of this. So like think of it that way, right? The left has had like how many fucking years to do it? So if it only took like 5 to 10 to get like a couple guys in Target, like think about it this way: in 5 to 10 more years, if you keep doing it, that's going to be the exact same shit from the right. And I don't think we want that. I think we want to like be better people. So that's why I'm saying don't do misinformation tactics with supercharged rhetoric, because that's what the left does. And that's where it leads, right? That's the actual result of the tactics. The tactics don't start with that, but they do end with that. As we see right now, this is where those tactics end.
I'd like to say...
That's why the left is being the only one who uses these tactics is a good thing for the right. That's why I'm saying, like, if you're anti-woke, don't repeat these tactics. It's bad.
Thank you to the Washington Post sarcastically for putting out fake news and
what I mean by violent, like, misinformation, I should say violent misinformation, right? Where they deliberately like lie about specific individuals with hateful rhetoric against them, like they're claiming like mean things that their side thinks are awful against a person, right? It's usually like a specific individual, right? Obviously, drama douche-tubers are like the down, like bona fide people who do that. But they don't really know like a real political allegiance because they're drama YouTubers. They just farm whatever. And they're like the ones like behind a lot more of this bullshit than even the left. Because like they just don't even have a political association. But it's basically drama YouTubers, then the far left, and then the far right has like one or two guys occasionally, like a year, right? And my thing is, I just don't want like the right to like start feeding in those far righters to get more violent and create more of them. I think we should like, I think the right should pride themselves that don't have that many of them yet, because they can get some. That's how you get them. Like they don't come out of the box that way. Basically, takes a lot of years and a lot of propaganda to do that.
An effort at
and if you do committed propaganda, it does eventually happen to be that way, right? Yeah, I just don't want the right to do this, because if you're seeing what he's talking about, like, when the left does this is where it leads. It's not a sides thing though, because like it is a sides thing in that right now, but it can lead to that if like the right continues down like the misinformation, like really not the right, the anti-woke, I should say. It's not even the right. It's not even the right. Like a lot of the anti-woke aren't even right wing. They're just like reactionary to the left, which means I guess you could say they're taking a right wing position on a lot of things. But like it just be yourselves, man. Like
who wants to assume control over and shut down completely. Now would the city want to do that? Well, the issue is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Nice. Little Warhammer game. Okay. Video game. All right.
The vandalism and violence. I'll run you through it. Update for all the skateboarders out there who are they got nothing else to talk about, I guess.
I mean, to be fair, skateboarding, I haven't really seen any skateboarders in a while. Like, to be fair, like I said, there's not many skate parks left.
Contacted a few major contractors and we said, we want to, on this property, build a skate park, and we're going to go about it a couple of ways. First, we don't want to touch the DIY portion. It's only a small portion of the space. The people who built that may want it. It's got a fun communal element, so let's leave it where it is. We will ask the people how they want to handle it. Off to the side of the property, because I believe it's about 5 acres, we will set up a concrete park and or wood ramps. We will then leave the DIY for those who built it, and then we're going to have a maintained and clean space.
Yep.
Well, unfortunately, the locals told me we can't stop them from vandalizing it. They're making things worse, and it sucks. If you put wood ramps there, they will burn them down.
Yeah, and this is just like people need to stop doing this shit. You know, like he's saying, like they're just like they're dedicated even to just destroying his shit, and this is just disgusting. I'll be honest, like I shouldn't need to like have him explain his whole self. Like he's already like I'm already pissed off at the left at this, right? And if he explains it more, I'm just gonna be more pissed off. So I'm gonna turn this off. But like, just know this, right? I've watched the 10 minutes. I've only like watched 4 minutes like in this. I got really pissed, and I needed to make the video because of that. That's what I'm saying. Like, the people need to fucking stop this shit. It's a lot of lefties here. I'm saying, like, you know, it's the misinformation. Like, he needs to sue Washington Post, and yeah, those people need to go to jail. Like, fuck it, stop doing this shit. Like think. Like I said, if he opens up a skate park and it sucks, he just loses money, or right wing fans of his lose money because they're willing to put up with it, and it's not that bad. And the only way, like, you know, he and right wingers all win is if it's legit, it's rad as fuck, and then it's like, well, everyone wins, even you, because it's rad as fuck. You get a good skate park. So the only way for you to lose. Right? The only way for you to lose is for you to do the shit like this and try to destroy the skate park. And they took that route. So yeah, fuck these assholes who did this to him, you know? Fuck you, whoever wrote this article. Anyway, see ya.